mayhem, absolute mayhem. People are so close to being run over. This is incredibly dangerous. There is no police presence at the moment.
Blocking roads, gluing themselves to the floor, and throwing paint on historic buildings and works of art. Extreme protest groups like Just Stop Oil have been increasingly disruptive in their methods, highlighting their cause through deliberate causation of chaos. And politicians have been attempting to crack down on these groups for some time.
No, you can't just start a riot or glue yourself to the roads and get away with it.
The government's Public Order Act tried to give the police new powers to immediately crack down on protests that cause, quote, serious disruption to the life of a community. But the government's plans were watered down by the House of Lords. Now the government wants to overrule the Lords using a nifty mechanism sometimes referred to as Henry VIII powers that can change law without the consent of Parliament. The Lords' Secondary Legislation Scrutiny Committee has criticised this move, saying the proposed changes would, quote, lower the threshold for serious disruption. Continuing, the same changes were rejected by the House of Lords when put forward as amendments, and the Home Office has not provided any new arguments as to why they should now be approved. While Number 10 feels like it has the public's backing to overrule the unelected House, many in the Lords disagree. The government wants to make changes to specifically note hindrance to the making of a journey as an example of disruption. It believes that the current lack of examples of disruption in the Act leaves police in an ambiguous position, often standing uselessly as protesters block cars, vans, and even ambulances. The changes would allow police to count the snowball effect of repeated protests as more serious, enabling faster police action. But there are those who believe that the Act, even in its original form, goes too far, and that disruptive protest is a right, even if it disrupts people's business and blocks highways.
Of course we recognise that protests can often be very inconvenient and highly disruptive, but under international law it's important to remember that those rights can only be restricted in very limited circumstances to prevent things like serious harm from taking place.
Yet the frustrations of many in the public and in Parliament are clear.
Does the Prime Minister agree with us? The moment those activists stand on the road, they should be immediately turfed off the road, like there are in many other countries.
The government has this week confirmed it will press ahead with its changes in the face of opposition from the House of Lords and some civil liberties groups. One thing is for certain, passions are high, and this is a debate that is not going away. Tom Harwood, GB News.